Hey guys, it's Luke from 3D Pro. Today we're just going to do a video on how to install your sliding rails to your slider. So this is our dual slider. It's the same process for our 1.5 mini slider, but I'm just going to go through it, how to do it and how it all works. So this is the base of our slider. As you can see here, we've got all the holes to mount this base to your vehicle. On the sides, we've got slots. This is what you're going to use the bolts to bolt your sliding rail to the base, and goes all the way. It is symmetrical, so it doesn't matter which way you have this. So this is the top of our slider. This is where your pack out clips into. So you've got the locking clips here and the slots for your pack out to mount to. These 8 holes are threaded, and that's what allows you to add the extra walls onto your slider if you're going to that extra distance. On the front end, this is some strength in our slider, and also on the sides, same thing. It's got the slots to do the sliding rails to your slider. These are the 52-inch sliding rails supplied with the dual slider, and we've got a 38-inch sliding rail for the mini slider. As you can see here, this is version 4, and we've got a full steel plate in for the locking mechanism. So that slides in, and that's going to lock in that position. So there's 2 of them. Over here is our supplied bolts for the sliding system. These are more of your pan head. These are for only mounting extra walls to your slider. Please do not use them for mounting the sliding rail to the slider. These are your flathead bolts that will be mounting the sliding rails to your slider. So please only use these. So there's 16 of them, and then there's also 8 of the pan head to add walls if needed. All of these come with a M5 locking nut to allow you to bolt it on. Alright, so we'll start with adding the sliding rails to your base. You do have a left and a right sliding rail. So this one is going to be your back one, and this one is the front one there. So we want this edge of our sliding rail to line up with here. So it's going to sit around there. Okay, so mounting your sliding rail to the base, you'll see there's this 20mm hole which is going to move and expose the holes there. And then as you go down the slider, there's also going to be holes there and at the end, which are going to line up with our slots. So when you've got your flathead bolt, you can put that through here. And you want to put the M5 nut on the back side. Just hand tighten for now, and then we can do it up later. Now we'll just get the back side all lined up. There's one. And the bolt. So now I've got the front and the back just hand tightened. We can add 2 more bolts to it. So it's going to be 4 here, 4 for the other side, and then 4 each for the top of the slider. So there's another one there. So we can put this bolt in and put your lock nut on the back. So you only need 2 tools. You're going to need your Phillips PH2 screwdriver, and then you're going to need a drill with an 8mm socket set on the end of it. I prefer to use a manual screwdriver just so you're not stripping the screws. So I can tighten all these up. So that's one side of the sliding rail bolted to the base. As you can see that, smooth operation, testing both sides, and that's going to lock out as well. So now we're going to do the right hand side for me and get these 4 bolts in the same place. Both sides are done now, so we're just going to test their operation. Make sure they're locking and not hitting the bolts, and that's why we use our flathead bolt instead of the pan head. And they're both locking out. Now the base is done and the sliding rails, we can add the top of the slider onto our sliding rails and then it's complete. So putting the top onto the sliding rails, you have two options, and that's the reason we've done the slots. Symmetrical on the sides is depending on if you want it to be a left-hand mount or a right-hand mount in your vehicle. So it's completely up to you or whatever suits your setup. For this scenario, we're going to go a right-hand mount. So like the base, you want to get this edge, the edge of our top of the slider. So just line that up and you can see already there's a hole showing. So this side's going to be your locking nut side and the bolt is going to go through. So we'll just line that up through and just hand tighten for now. Do the other side like that and hand tighten for now until I go through and do them all. So again, the same as the base, we're going to have 4 bolts on this side and 4 bolts on the other side. So I'll get them all mounted in and then it should be done. So for the top as well, you'll see this 20mm hole. That's going to allow you to find where the slots are for the bolt. So as you can see, I can see one there. Yeah. So I've found the bolt here and just going to put the lock nut on the other side. Alright, so your slider is now complete. This is going to be your right hand mount one. I'm just checking the function. And that locks on the full extension as well. Pressing both tabs is going to release. And that's going to lock closed as well. So just test our pack out. That's going to clip in as well. And grab a full width. That locks in as well. So you can do a half width and a full width into our dual slider. Our mini slider works with a full width plus a half width only. It's a little bit smaller, perfect for canopies or utes. Don't have enough space. So on the lip of your walls, you've got a hole here and a hole at the back, which is going to line up with your thread of the dual slider. I also recommend putting the M5 locking nut on the bottom side. So that's going to line up there. And this is going to line up on this side as well. And then you can also add another set of walls if needed. We do recommend, if you are going to add walls to your sliding system, it does need a backing bracing system. There's 2 ways you can do this. You can either use a piece of 3mm flat aluminium that you can get from a local hardware store and do an X brace, and then you can attach it to these holes at the back. Or some people as well are using a bit of like 9mm plywood and doing a big square and using these holes to screw it to that plywood. This way, some of our customers are adding like battery holders, other pack outs on the back side of their slider and fully utilizing it. So we just highly recommend that. So even though the packer shelf is mounted to the bottom here, I still recommend doing one thing, is bracing the back of the shelving. Just obviously when you're starting and stopping, it can sway this way. You just can't stop that. The one way to stop it though is to either do an X brace or a ply sheet across the back and square it off. But we don't supply that just because different people have different sizes that they're going on top of their slider, and it can vary, or they might just use that. So then your X brace is going to go from there. But for my scenario, I'm going to go from there to there, or there to there, just to cross brace it. So there's option A, which is plywood backing. So you can use the pre-made holes to screw it in all the corners. I've used form ply 16 mil, but you don't have to use this thick. I just like it because it's black. But so option B is using some flat 3 mil aluminium that I picked up from a local hardware store, and just cross bracing it like that, just using the existing holes to brace it diagonally. So that's going to stop that movement left to right. But there's probably a cleaner look and less weight. Alright, so my brace is in, so bolt there, end up doing a new hole in the center with a new bolt, and then a bolt up the top, which is going to stop it. It does not move at all now, it's completely still. So that's like, you can get a piece of aluminium for like $20 and like 3 mil lengths, and then depending on what shelves you have, you might have a double stack, so your angle is going to be more like this trajectory. So yeah, you can just cut it to suit. That's it, guys. That's how you put together your dual slider or mini slider in some people's scenarios. If you do want to check out some other videos on YouTube, we do have a bunch of other videos on how to install it into canopies, utes, vans, all different setups that people require and to your needs. And yeah, we look forward to seeing you guys being more efficient, organized on site. Thanks, guys.